assumed the form of a demon. That's very normal, I guess. At the end of the millennium, ignorance personified assumed the form of a demon, stole all the Vedas and took them down to the planet of Rasatala. The Supreme Lord, however, in his form of Hayagriva, retrieved the Vedas and returned them to Lord Brahma when he begged for them. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord, whose determination never fails. That's a wonderful quality. His determination never fails. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Although Vedic knowledge is imperishable, within this material world, it is sometimes manifest and sometimes not. When the people of this material world become too absorbed in ignorance, the Vedic knowledge disappears. Lord Hayagriva or Lord Matsya, however, always protects the Vedic knowledge, and in due course of time, it is again distributed through the medium of Lord Brahma. Brahma is the trustworthy representative of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, when he again asked for the treasure of Vedic knowledge, the Lord fulfilled his desire. Text number 7. Sukadeva Goswami continued, my dear king, Lord Nishingadeva resides in the tract of land known as Harivarsa. In the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, I shall describe to you how Prahlad Maharaja caused the Lord to assume the form of Nrsimhadeva. Prahlada Maharaj, the topmost devotee of the Lord, is a reservoir of all good qualities, of great personalities. His character and activities have delivered all the fallen members of his demoniac family. Lord Nrsimhadeva is very dear to this exalted personality. Thus, Prahlada Maharaja, along with his servants and all the denizens of Harivarsa, worships Lord Nrsimhadeva by chanting the following mantra. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. One second. Where is my pencil? Ah, oh, I guess I don't have it. Okay, that's right. Okay, so thus Prahlad Maharaja, along with his servants and all the denizens of Harivarsa, worships Lord Nrsimhadeva by chanting the following mantra. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jayadev Goswami's 10 prayers, worshipping the incarnations of Lord Krishna, Keshava, contain his name in every stanza. For example, Keshava Drita Nara Hari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Keshava Drita Nina Sarira Jaya Jagadisha Hare. And Keshava Drita Vamana Rupa Jaya Jagat Isha Hare. The word Jagat Isha refers to the proprietor of all universes. His original form is the two-handed form of Lord Krishna, standing with a flute in his hands and engaged in tending the cows. As stated in Brahma Samhita, Chintamani Prakarasad Masukalpavriksha Daksha Grideshu Surabir Abhipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Satasambhrama Sevyamanam Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor, who is tending the cows, yielding all desires, in abodes built with spiritual gems and surrounded by millions of purpose trees. He is always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. From the verse, from this verse, we learn that Govinda or Krishna is Adipurusha, the original person. The Lord has innumerable incarnations, exactly like the innumerable waves of a flowing river. But the original form is Krishna or Keshava. Yeah, I have pencils in that closet. Do you see them?
Yeah, but I'm seeing it right now. I'll check mine.
Okay. Sukadeva Goswami refers to Nishingadeva because of because of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was put into great distress by his powerful father, the demon Hiranyakashipu. Apparently, helpless before him, Prahlada Maharaj called on the Lord, who immediately assumed the gigantic form of Nrsingadeva, half lion and half man, to kill the gigantic demon. Although Krishna is the original person, one without a second, he assumes different forms just to satisfy the devotees or to execute a specific purpose. Therefore, Jayadeva Goswami always repeats the name of Kesava, the original personality of Godhead, in his prayers describing the Lord's different incarnations for different purposes. Text number 8. Second. Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya Namaste Tejase Avir Bhava. Right. Vajra Namaskar Vajra Dhamsra Karma Sayan Randaya Tamo Grasa Om Swaha Abhayam Atmani Bhuyista Om Krishnaram. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Nisringadev, the source of all power. O my Lord, who possesses nails and teeth, just like thunderbolts, kindly vanquish our demon-like desires with fruit of activity in this material world. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance so that by your mercy we may become fearless in the struggle for existence in this material world. And it is really a struggle for existence in this material world. That's a fact. Purport in the Srimad Bhagavatam 4:22-39. Sanat Kumara speaks the following words to Maharaj Prithu. Yad pada pankaja palasa vilasa bhakya karmasayam gati itam udgrahayanti santa tan tadvan na rikta matayo yatayo pi rudha Shroto ganas tam aranam vaja vasudevam. Devotees always engaged in the service of the toes of the Lord's lotus feet can very easily become free from the hard knotted desires for fruitive activity because this is very difficult. The non devotees, the jnanis and yogis, cannot stop the waves of sense gratification, although they try to do so. Therefore, you are advised to engage in the devotional service of Krishna, the son of Vasudeva. Every living being within this material world has a strong desire to enjoy matter to his fullest satisfaction. For this purpose, the conditioned soul must accept one body after another, and thus his strongly fixed fruitive desires continue. One cannot stop the repetition of birth and death without being completely desireless. Therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami describes pure bhakti, devotional service, as follows. Anya vilasita sunya, jnana karmadi anavritam, anakulyena krishnana silanam bhaktir uttama. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. Unless one is completely freed of all material desires, which are caused by the dense darkness of ignorance, one cannot fully engage in the devotional service of the Lord. Therefore, we should always offer our prayers to Lord Nrsingadeva, who killed Hiranyakashipu, the personification of material desire. Hiranya means gold, and Kashipu means a soft cushion or bed. Materialistic persons always desire to make the body comfortable, and for this they require huge amounts of gold. Thus, Hiranyakashipu was the perfect representative of materialistic life. He was therefore the cause of great disturbance to the topmost devotees, Prahlad Maharaja, un- until Lord Nrsingadev killed him. Any devotee aspiring to be free from material desires should offer his respectful prayers to Nrsingadeva, as Prahlad Maharaja did in this verse. Okay, well, let's hear what his prayer was. In a second. Swasti astu vishvasya kala prasiddhantam Yaya yantu bhutani shivam mito diya manascha badram bhajatad ahoksajay avestatam no matir api ahantuki. May there be good fortune throughout the universe, and may all envious persons be pacified. May all living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga, for by accepting devotional service, they will think of each other's welfare. Therefore, let us all engage in the service of the supreme transcendence, Lord Shri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in thought of him. Oh, now that is a prayer. That's a very good prayer. Purport: the following verse describes a Vaishnava. Vanchakalpatarabhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Just like a desire tree, a Vaishnava can fulfill the desires of anyone who takes shelter of his lotus feet. Prahlad Maharaj is a typical Vaishnava. He prays not for himself, but for all living entities, the gentle, the envious, and the mischievous. He always thought of the welfare of mischievous persons, like his father, Hiranyakashipu. Prahlada Maharaj did not ask for anything for himself. Rather, he prayed for the Lord to excuse his demoniac father. This is the attitude of a Vaishnava who always thinks of the welfare of the entire universe. Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavata Dharma are meant for persons who are completely free of envy. Parama nirmatsaranam satam. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays in this verse, Kala Sashajatam. May all the envious persons be pacified. Wow, it's a nice prayer. It's a good prayer. The material world is full of envious persons, but if one frees himself of envy, he becomes liberal in his social dealings and can think of others' welfare. Anyone who takes up Krishna consciousness and engages himself completely in the service of the Lord cleanses his mind of all envy. Manascha Vadram Vajatad Ahoksajay. Therefore, we should pray to Lord Vishnumadeva to sit in our hearts. We should pray, Bahir Nishinho Hirdaye Nirsimha. Let Lord Nishingadeva sit in the core of my heart, killing all my bad propensities. Let my mind become clean so that I may peacefully worship the Lord and bring peace to the entire world. Well, we should pray like this. This is a wonderful prayer. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given us a very fine purport in this regard. Whenever one offers a prayer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one always requests some benediction from him. Even pure niskama, meaning pure devotees, pray for some benediction as instructed by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Shikshastaka. Ai Nandata Nuja Kinkaram, Opitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddho, Pipaya Tava Padapankaja Stita Duli Sadrisam Vichantaya. O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servant. Yet, somehow or other, I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from the ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. In another prayer, Lord Chaitanya says, Mama Janmani Janmani Sware Bhavata Bhaktira Haituki Twaye. Life after life, kindly let me have unalloyed love and devotion at your lotus feet, at your lordship's lotus feet. When Prahlada Maharaj chants Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya, he prays for a benediction from the Lord. But because he is also an exalted Vaishnava, he wants nothing for his personal sense gratification. The first desire expressed in this prayer is Swasti Astu Vishwasya. Let there be good fortune throughout the entire universe. Prahlada Maharaj thus requested the Lord to be merciful to everyone, including his father, a most envious person. According to Chanakya Pandita, there are two kinds of envious living entities. One is a snake, and the other is the man like Hiranyakashipu, who is by nature envious of everyone, even of his father or son. Hiranyakashipu, who is by nature envious of everyone, even of his father or son. Hiranyakashipu was envious of his little son Prahlada, but Prahlada Maharaj asked a benediction for the benefit of his father. Hiranyakashipu was very envious of devotees, but Prahlada Maharaj wished that his father and other demons like him would give up their envious nature by the grace of the Lord and stop harassing the deities. Kala prasadatam. The difficulty is that Kala, envious living entity, is rarely pacified. One kind of Kala, the snake, can be pacified simply by mantras or by the action of a particular herb. Mantro usadi vasa sarpa kalakena nivaryate. An envious person, however, cannot be pacified by any means. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj's prayer that all envious persons may undergo a change of heart and think of the welfare of others, uh, others. I'm sorry. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays that all envious persons may undergo a change of heart and think of the welfare of others. If the Krishna consciousness movement spreads all over the world, and if by the grace of uh, Krishna everyone accepts it, the thinking of envious people will change. Everyone will think of the welfare of others. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaja prays, Shivam mito diya. In material activities, everyone is envious of others. But in Krishna consciousness, no one is envious of anyone else. Everyone thinks of the welfare of others. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaja prays that everyone's mind may become gentle by being fixed at the lotus feet of Krishna. Bhajatad Ahok Sajay, as indicated elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam, Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vrindayo, and as advised by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 18.65, Manmanabhava Mad Bhakta, one should be cleansed, Sheto Darpuna Marjanam. Materialists always think of sense gratification, but Prahlada Maharaja prays that the Lord's mercy will change their minds and they will stop thinking of sense gratification. If they think of Krishna always, everything will be all right. Some people argue that if everyone thought of Krishna in that way, the whole universe would be vacated because everyone would go back home, back to God. However, Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur says that this is impossible because the living entities are Chakravarti Thakur says that this is impossible because the living entities are innumerable. If one set of living entities is actually delivered by Krishna, by the Krishna consciousness movement, another set will fill the entire universe. Wow. That means there's a continual uh, number of living entities. They never will stop. So there's plenty of work for devotees because there's unlimited demons in this world. But they can become purified and go back to Godhead, but they will be replaced by another set of demons. Text 10. My dear Lord, we pray that we may never feel attraction for the prison of family life, consisting of home, wife, children, friends, bank balance, relatives, and so on. If we do have some attachment, let it be for devotees whose only dear friend is Krishna, a person who is actually self realized and who has control of his mind is perfectly satisfied with the bare necessities of life. He does not try to gratify his senses. Such a person quickly advances in Krishna consciousness, whereas others who are too attached to material things find advancement very difficult. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. When Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was requested to explain the duty of a Vaishnava, a Krishna conscious person, he immediately said, Asat Sangha Tyaga E Vaishnava Achara. The first business of a Vaishnava is to give up the association of persons who are not devotees of Krishna and who are too attached to material things, wife, children, bank balance, and so on. Prahlad Maharaj also praised the personality of Godhead that he may avoid the association of non-devotees attached to the materialistic way of life. If he must be attached to someone, he prays to be attached only to a devotee. A devotee is not interested in unnecessarily increasing the demands of the senses for gratification. Of course, as long as one is in the material world, one must have a material body, and it must be maintained for executing devotional service. The body can be maintained very easily by eating Krishna prasada. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 9:26, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yomi bhakta parachati tadhat bhakti uparitam asnami paritat manaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. End of quote. Why should the menu be unnecessarily increased for the satisfaction of the tongue? Devotees should eat as simply as possible. Otherwise, attachment for material things will gradually increase, and the senses, being very strong, will soon require more and more material enjoyment. Then the real business of life to advance in Krishna consciousness will stop. Well, in general, it is understood that the devotees should not be fat. And they should be uh, uh, normal, uh, medium, let's say, height and weight, and always engaged in the service of the Lord. Text 11. By associating with persons for whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead Mukunda is the all in all, one can hear of his powerful activities and soon come to understand them. The activities of Mukunda are so potent that simply by hearing of them, one immediately associates with the Lord. For a person who constantly and very eagerly hears narrations of the Lord's powerful activities, the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, in the form of sound vibrations, enters within his heart and cleanses it of all contamination. On the other hand, although bathing in the Ganges diminishes bodily contaminations and infectious and infections and infections, this process and the process of visiting holy places can cleanse the heart only after a long time. Therefore, one who is the sane man who will not associate. Therefore, who is the sane man who will not associate with devotees to quickly perfect his life? Yeah. So one can go on pilgrimages and so forth, but the best thing is to associate with a genuine devotee, and that will quickly perfect one's life. Purport. Bathing in the Ganges can certainly cure one of many infectious diseases, but it cannot cleanse one's materially attached mind, which creates all kinds of contaminations in material existence. However, one who directly associates with the Supreme Lord by hearing of his activities cleanses the dirt from his mind and very soon comes to Krishna consciousness. Sutta Goswami confirms this in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.17. Shinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanam Vidyantasto Brahmani Vidunoti Suhitsatam. The Supreme Lord within everyone's heart becomes very pleased when a person hears narrations of his, meaning Krishna's, activities, and he personally cleanses the dirt from the mind of the listener. Hridi antaksto hi abhadrani vidunati. He washes off all dirt from the mind. Material existence is caused by dirty things within the mind. If one cleanses the mind, he immediately comes to his original position of Krishna consciousness, and thus his life becomes successful. Therefore, for all the great saints in the devotional service line very strongly recommend the process of hearing. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced the congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra to give everyone a chance to hear Krishna's holy name, for simply by hearing Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, one becomes purified. Chetodarpana. Therefore, our Krishna consciousness movement is chiefly engaged in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra all over the world. After one's mind becomes cleansed by chanting Hare Krishna, one gradually comes to the platform of Krishna consciousness. Hare, chanting, okay. After one's mind becomes cleansed by chanting Hare Krishna, one gradually comes to the platform of Krishna consciousness and then reads books like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and the Nectar of Devotion. In this way, one becomes more and more purified of all material contamination. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.18. Nasta Praesu Bhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhagavati Naistiki. By regularly hearing the Bhagavatam and rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is practically destroyed, and loving service unto the glorious Lord, who is praised with transcendental loving service. Who is praised. Let's start over again. By regularly hearing the Bhagavatam and rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is practically destroyed, and loving service unto the glorious Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. In this way, simply by hearing of the powerful activities of the Lord, the devotee's heart becomes almost completely cleansed of material contamination. And thus, his original position as an eternal servant who is part and parcel of the Lord becomes manifest. While the devotee engages in devotional service, the passionate and ignorant modes of material nature are gradually vanquished, and then he acts only in the mode of goodness. At that time, he becomes happy and gradually advances in Krishna consciousness. All the great acharyas strongly recommend that people be given a chance to hear about the Supreme Lord. Then success is assured. The more we cleanse the dirt of material attachment from our hearts, the more we will be attracted by Krishna's name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, and activities. This is the sum and substance of the Krishna consciousness movement. Wow, beautiful statement. Text number 12. Yasyasti bhakti bhagavat akinchana sarvar gunastatra samatsate sura paravabhakta shelkuto mahadguna manoraktan asati dahavato bhai. The famous verse. All the demigods and their exalted qualities, such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation, become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of God, Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities. Even if he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculation and must engage in the service of the Lord's eternal energy, the Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? Wow. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. As explained in the next verse, Krishna is the original source of all living entities. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 15.7, wherein Krishna says, Mamai Vamsa Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatanam, Manaksastan Indriyani, Prakriti Stani Kasati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal, fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. All living entities are part and parcel of Krishna, and therefore, when they revive their original Krishna consciousness, they possess all the good qualities of Krishna in a small quantity. When one engages himself in the 9 processes of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada, Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Satyam, Atmanivedanam, one's heart becomes purified and he immediately understands his relationship with Krishna. He then revives his original quality of Krishna consciousness. In the Adi Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 8, there is a description of some of the qualities of a devotee. For example, Sri Pandita Haridasa is described as being very well behaved, tolerant, peaceful, and magnanimous, and grave. In addition, he spoke very sweetly, and his endeavors were very pleasing. He was always patient. He respected everyone. He always worked for everyone's benefit. His mind was free of duplicity, and he was completely devoid of all malicious activities. These are all originally qualities of Krishna, and when one becomes a devotee, they automatically become manifest. Sri Krishnadas Kaviraja, the author of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, says that all good qualities become manifest in the body of a Vaishnava, and that only by the presence of these good qualities can one distinguish a Vaishnava from a non Vaishnava. Krishnadas Kaviraja lists the following 26 good qualities of a Vaishnava. 1. He is very kind to everyone. 2. He does not make anyone his enemy. 3. He is truthful. 4. He is equal to everyone. 5. No one can find any fault in him. 6. He is magnanimous. 7. He is mild. 8. He is always clean. 9. He is without possessions. 10. He works for everyone's benefit. 11. He is very peaceful. 12. He is always surrendered to Krishna. 13. He has no material desires. 14. He is very meek. 15. He is steady. 16. He controls his senses. 17. He does not eat more than required. 18. He is not influenced by the Lord's illusory energy. 19. He offers respect to everyone. 20. He does not desire any respect for himself. 21. He is very grave. 22. He is merciful. 23. He is friendly. 24. He is poetic. 25. He is expert. 26. He is silent. He is silent means he doesn't speak nonsense. He only speaks about Krishna. Text 13. Just as a quiet always desired to remain in the vast map of water, all conditioned living entities naturally desire to remain in the vast existence of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, if someone very great by material calculations fails to take shelter of the Supreme Soul, but instead becomes attached to material household life, his greatness is like that of a young low class couple. One who is too attached to material life loses all good spiritual qualities. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Although crocodiles are very fierce animals, they are powerless when they venture out of the water onto land. When they are out of the water, they cannot exhibit their original power. Similarly, the all-pervading super soul, Paramatma, is the source of all living entities, and all living entities are part and parcel of him. When the living entity remains in contact with the all-pervading Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, he manifests his spiritual power exactly as the crocodile exhibits his strength in the water. In other words, the greatness of the living entity can be perceived when he is in the spiritual world, engaged in spiritual activities. Many householders, although well educated in the knowledge of the Vedas, become attached to family life. They are compared herein to crocodiles out of water. Wow. For they are devoid of all. They are devoid of all spiritual strength. Their greatness is like that of a young husband and wife who, though uneducated, praise one another and become attracted to their own temporary beauty. This kind of greatness is appreciated only by low class men with no qualifications. Yeah, instead of considering your wife or your husband as the supreme personality of Godhead, One should be completely surrendered to the Lord and always glorify Krishna and his devotees. Uh, Everyone should therefore seek the shelter of the Supreme Soul, the source of all living entities. No one should waste his time in the so called happiness of materialistic household life. In the Vedic civilization, this type of crippled life is allowed only until one's 50th year, when one must give up family life and enter the order of vanaprastha, independent, retired life for cultivation of spiritual knowledge, or sannyasa, the renounced order, in which one completely takes shelter of the Supreme Personality of God. Well, the good news is that the wife and the husband both can attain the renounced order by taking complete shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 14. Therefore, O demons, give up the so called happiness of family life and simply take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Nrsingadeva, which are the actual shelter of fearlessness. Entanglement in family life is the root cause of material attachment. Indefatigable desires, moroseness, anger, despair, fear, and the desire for false prestige, all of which result in the repetition of birth and death. Well, by practicing Krishna consciousness, according to Srila Prabhupada's instructions, one becomes free of all these bad qualities and can be married and have children, but not be contaminated by the desires of sense gratification. Obviously, the desires for sense gratification corrupt a person, but the use of the senses in pleasing the Krishna, in pleasing Krishna, can eliminate all these unwanted desires and be only desiring to serve Krishna with love and devotion. Text 15. Sukadeva Goswami continued, in the tract of land called Ketumala Varsa, Lord Vishnu lives in the form of Kamadeva, only for the satisfaction of his devotees. These include Lakshmi Ji, the goddess of fortune, the Prajapati, Samvatsara, and all of Samvatsara's sons and daughters. The daughters of Prajapati are considered the controlling deities of the nights, and his sons are considered the controllers of the days. The Prajapati's offspring number 36,000, one for each day and each night in the lifetime of a human being. At the end of each year, the Prajapati's daughters become very agitated upon seeing the extremely effulgent disk of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus they all suffer miscarriages. Wow, that's terrible. This Kamadeva, who appears as Krishna's son named Pradyumna, is Vishnu Tattva. How this is so is explained by Madhvacharya, who quotes from the Brahmanda Purana. Kamadeva Stitam Vishnu Upsate. Although this Kamadeva is Vishnu Tattva, his body is not spiritual but material. Lord Vishnu, as Pradyumna or Kamadeva, accepts a material body, but he still acts spiritually. It does not make any difference whether he accepts a spiritual or a material body. He can act spiritually in any condition of existence. Now that's a very important statement. Mayavadi philosophers regard even Lord Krishna's body as material, but their opinions cannot impede the spiritual activity of the Lord. Impede means they can't stop the spiritual activity of the Lord. Okay, text number 6. In Ketu Malavarsa, Lord Kamadeva Pradyumna moves very graciously. His mind, his mind, his mind, his mild smile is very beautiful. And when he increases the beauty of his face by slightly raising his eyebrow and glancing playfully, he pleases the goddess of fortune. Thus, he enjoys his transcendental senses. Well, the movement of the eyes are very important in Krishna consciousness. One does not have to engage in sex. However, one may move his eyelashes in such a way that the opposite sex feels completely satisfied and is playfully glanceful. In other words, his eyebrows and glancing playfully, he pleases the goddess of fortune. Thus, he enjoys his transcendental senses. That's very significant statement. The devotee does not have to engage in gross sense gratification. However, he may, uh, by slightly raising his eyebrows and glancing playfully, he pleases the goddess of fortune. Thus, he enjoys his transcendental senses. So there's no question of illicit sex or any sex, but there is the uh, transcendental way of satisfying one's senses, and that is by slightly raising his eyebrows and glancing playfully. He pleases the goddess of fortune. Thus, he enjoys his transcendental senses. Wow. Okay, text number 17. Accompanied during the daytime by the sons of the Prajapati, the predominating deities of the days, and accompanied at night by his daughters, the deities of the nights. Lakshmi Devi worships the Lord during the period known as the Samvatsara in his most merciful form as Kama Deva. Fully absorbed in devotional service, she chants the following mantra or mantras. She chants the following mantras. Yeah, just as you think, oh, well, now they're going to talk about sense gratification. But no, they talk about chanting the following mantras. The word Mayam, used in this verse should not be understood according to the interpretation of the Mayavadi. Maya means affection as well as illusion. Wow, okay. This is what confuses people. Multiple and sometimes contrary words. When a mother deals with her child affectionately, she is called Maya Maya or Maya Maya. In whatever form Supreme Lord Vishnu appears, he is always affectionate toward his devotees. Thus, the word Maya, Mayam, is used here to mean very affectionate toward the devotees. Yeah, I mean it's very easy to say, oh, it says Maya. That means that one is an illusion. No, not in this case, right? It's Maya, mayam, is used here to mean very affectionate toward the devotees. Srila Jiva Goswami writes in this regard that the Maya, mayam, can also mean Kripa Prachuram or deeply merciful. Similarly, Vira Raghava says, Maya Pachuranu Atmaya Sankalpena Parigrihitam iti artha jnana paryayo tra maya sabda. When one is very affectionate due to his intimate relationship, one is described as Maya. Shiva Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura explains Mayam by dividing it into the words Maya and Amayam. He explains these words to indicate that because the living entity is covered by the disease of illusion, the Lord is always eager to deliver his devotee from the clutches of Maya and cure him of the disease caused by the illusory energy. This is very subtle because some people might think this Maya Mayam is engaging in sense gratification. But the way it is explained here is by dividing this word Maya, Mayam, into the words Maya and Amayam. He explains these words to indicate that because the living entity is covered by the disease of illusion, the Lord is always eager to deliver his devotee from the clutches of Maya and cure him of the disease caused by the illusory energy. So, if someone is not a devotee, he will misinterpret Maya Mayam. But if he's a devotee, he will understand that it's talking about pure devotional service and not sense gratification. That's why you have to read Shastra to understand what the actual truth is. Otherwise, you can gloss over the Shastra and come up with the wrong understanding. Okay, text number 18. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Rishikesha. So this is a prayer. The controller of all my senses and the origin of everything. As the Supreme Master of all bodily, mental, and intellectual activities, he is the only enjoyer of their results. Well, see, that's a profound and mature understanding of Krishna consciousness. The five sense objects and 11 senses, including the mind, are his partial manifestations. He supplies all the necessities of life, which are his energy, and thus not different from him. And he is the cause of everyone's bodily and mental prowess, which is also non different from him. Indeed, he is the husband and provider of necessities for all living entities. The purpose of all Vedas is to worship him. Therefore, let us all offer him, meaning Krishna, our respectful obeisances. May he always be favorable toward us in this life and the next. This is another prayer, a very profound prayer. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. In this verse, the word Maya, is further explained in regard to how the Lord expands his mercy in different ways. Parasya Shakti Vividaya Vasuyate. The energies of the Supreme Lord are understood in different ways. Very important statement. The energies of the Supreme Lord are understood in different ways. In this verse, he is described as the original source of everything, even our body, senses, mind, activities, prowess, bodily strength, mental strength, and determination for securing the necessities of life. Indeed, the Lord's energies can be perceived in everything. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.8, Rasaham Apsukonteya, the taste of water is also Krishna. Krishna is the active principle of everything we need for our maintenance. This verse, offering respectful obeisances unto the Lord, was composed by Brahma, the goddess of fortune, and is full of spiritual power. You see, the power uh, the words of
This is
prayers is very, very significant. What you said?
Maharaj, this is Rama, not Rama.
Oh, Lord Rama. I'm sorry.
No, Rama, who is the goddess of fortune.
Okay. Under the guidance Rama, the goddess of fortune, and is full of spiritual power. Under the guidance of a spiritual master, everyone should chant this mantra and thus become a complete and perfect devotee of the Lord. One may chant this mantra for complete liberation from material bondage, and after liberation, one may continue to chant it while worshiping the Supreme Lord in Vaikuntha Loka. All mantras, of course, are meant for this life and the next, as Krishna himself confirms in Bhagavad Gita 9.14. Satatam kirtiyantamam chitantascha dhritavata namasyantas chamam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination. Bowing down before me, the great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. A devotee who is both in this life and the next chants the Maha Mantra or any mantra is called Nitya Yukto Vasat. Okay, so here, what is that mantra that it's talking about? It's the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Uh, Also, the other mantra here is Satatam Kirtiyantamam Chitantas Chadritarita Namasyantas Chamam Bhatya Nitya Yukta Upasate. Always chanting my glories. That's meaning always chanting Hare Krishna. Endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me. The great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. A devotee who a devotee who both in this life and the next chants the Mahamantra. What's that? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Or any mantra is called Nitya Yukta Prasaka. Okay, well, we don't have to chant any other mantra, just chant the Hare Krishna mantra. That covers everything. Okay, I think our time is up. I think we'll stop right there because there's so much information. It's overwhelming. Is there any takeaways that you want to talk about? the real takeaway is Satatam Kirtiyan Tamam Tukam Tasya Tukavata Namasyan Tastamam Bhakta Maya Nitya Yukta Upasate. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me. The great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. A devotee who both in this life and the next chants the Maha Mantra or any mantra is called Nitya Yukto Prasaka. Well, you only need one mantra. It's Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And we should continually chant it, never stop chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, I think we'll stop right there with the Maha Mantra. We begin with the Maha Mantra, and in the middle we chant Maha Mantra, and in the end we chant the Maha Mantra. That means we always chant the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so our takeaway for today. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me. The great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. A devotee who both in this life and the next chants the Maha Mantra or any mantra is called Nitya Yukto Prasaka. It's always chanting the Maha Mantra, Nitya, the Yukto Prasaka. Okay, what does that mean? That means they're always chanting the holy names of the Lord. Nitya means eternally. Yukto Prasaka. Okay, I think we'll stop right there with the Maha Mantra. Always chanting the Maha Mantra. Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Chitantascha Drutavata Namasyantas Chamam Bhatya Nitya Yukta Upasate. Always chanting my glory, meaning chanting Hare Krishna. Endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, the great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. A devotee who is both in this life and the next chants the Maha Mantra or any mantra is called Nitya Yukta Prasaka. Well, we're not going to just chant any mantra. We're going to chant the Hare Krishna mantra because that covers all the mantras. Hare Bol. Thank you very much, my dear devotees. Now you see how Lord Chaitanya has made everything easy for us. If we don't chant any other mantra except the Maha Mantra, that covers all the bases. That's why Haridas Thakur was always chanting the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. And he never stopped chanting. He's still chanting. So that's the only mantra we really have to chant, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. It is the mantra of all mantras. Mantra means the mind, and it's always engaged in devotional service. Hare Krishna. All right, we'll stop right there. Are there any questions or comments? Any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes.
In 5:18:15 Maharaj, or 13, 5:18:13.
5:18.
13.
13.
The last
Okay.
paragraph.
Right there, yeah.
So it says, everyone should therefore seek the shelter of the Supreme Soul, the source of all living entities. No one should waste his time in the so-called happiness of materialistic household life. In the Vedic civilization, this type of crippled life, that is, I think, being
Mundane life.
mundane life, is allowed only until one's 50th year,
Yes.
when one
How
must.
old are you now?
I am 47, Maharaj.
You got 3
3 more years.
Go ahead.
When one must give up family life and enter either the order of Vanaprastha, that is independent retired life for cultivation of spiritual knowledge, or sannyasa, which is the renounced order in which one completely takes shelter of the Supreme
So that
Personality.
includes both women and men.
And Maharaj, my question is, this mundane life, if it's allowed until 50th year, Maharaj,
What?
the
What?
mundane life,
Yeah.
according to Vedic civilization, is allowed only until 50th year of someone's life.
You can say that, but actually, Krishna consciousness, we engage in spiritual activities even from the earliest times of our, consciousness. But go ahead.
I think my question is, if you don't engage in spiritual activities, even when you're younger, it is very hard to enter the order of Vanaprastha when you're 50, even if you're following according to Vedic. Maybe if you follow the Vedic lifestyle completely, maybe it is possible to enter Vanaprastha at 50. But looking at the current lifestyles, Maharaj, if you're just living a mundane life, it's very hard to enter Vanaprastha at 50, even if you want to. If you don't follow certain things until your 50th year.
Well, yes, that's true. How old is your husband?
My husband is 50, Maharaj.
How much?
50.
50.
Yeah.
Well, you should copy this page and give it to him.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah. We should have, 25 years, first 25 years are for education and renunciation, meaning doing tapasya. The next 25 years should be married life, in which we raise children and we teach them to be Krishna conscious. And then there is complete renunciation for the rest of the time. So, renunciation, what does it mean exactly? It means you renounce unnecessary things and you take up all that is Krishna conscious. So, instead of reading many books, you read one book, Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, that's enough. Right? And instead of having all kinds of desires and plans, your only desire is to be engaged in devotional service, and your plan is to always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna and help other people also. So I guess 50 years old is the is the most important time to take up Krishna consciousness. Right? So how old am I? I'm almost 80 years old. So I did cut off at 50 from being engaged in devotion in business and took up Krishna consciousness. Yeah, I mean I still have a business, but I'm not involved in it. Right? It's my kids that are involved in it. So I can't say I own it anymore. I gave it to my kids. Yeah.
Maharaj, I think this works if you're married by 25, you already had kids by 25 years, then 25 years of family life, maybe you raise your kids, they're old enough, they're in their 22 or 25, then you can renounce, Maharaj. But you have some responsibility until they are at least 22 or 25.
Yeah.
Then you can enter Vanaprastha, Maharaj, because until then, because especially if some people have kids older, these days people are having kids older.
The cutoff date is 50 years old.
Doesn't matter how old your kids are at that time. Because some people have kids late. Maybe then your kids are not old enough to be self-sustainable. then you have to help them until they're self-sustainable. And then
Ideally, it's 50 years.
Mm.
Ideally. So 25 years of education, 25 years of being married and raising children, and then the rest, after 50 years old, is all Krishna conscious activity. Yeah, that's ideal.
Yes, ma'am.
But what if you're like a person who gets married when they're 65? There are people like that.
They do second, third marriage.
Yeah, married many times, right? And never stop getting married. Yeah, what's the name of that person that does that? Let's see. A very famous guy. He married his, I think, fifth wife or something like that. I always forget the names of demons. I can't remember his name. Haribol, thank you very much, my dear devotees. Our takeaway from today. Although crocodiles are very fierce animals, they are powerless when they venture out of the water onto land. When they're out of the water, they cannot exhibit their original power. Similarly, the all-pervading supersoul, Paramatma, is the source of all living entities, and all living entities are part and parcel of him. When the living entity remains in contact with the all-pervading Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, he manifests his spiritual power exactly as the crocodile exhibits its strength in the water. In other words, the greatness of the living entity can be perceived when he is in the spiritual world, engaged in spiritual activity. Many households, although well educated in the knowledge of the Vedas, become attached to family life. They are compared herein to crocodiles out of water, for they are devoid of all spiritual strength. Their greatness is like that of a young husband and wife who, though uneducated, praise one another and become attracted to their own temporary beauty. This kind of greatness is appreciated only by low-class men with no qualification. Everyone should therefore seek the shelter of the Supreme Soul and source of all living entities. No one should waste his time in the so-called happiness of materialistic household life. In the Vedic civilization, this type of crippled life is allowed only until one's 50th year. There it is, the cutoff right there. When one must give up family life and enter either the order of Vanaprastha, independent, retired life for the cultivation of spiritual knowledge, or sannyasa, the renounced order, in which one completely takes shelter of the Supreme Personality of God. So, basically, this is saying the first 25 years is for education. The next 25 years is for engaging in devotional service seriously and also raising your children. And then the last 25 years is giving up everything and preparing oneself to go back to Godhead. Okay, so the cutoff age is 50 years. Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much. And don't worry, because you are eternal. But to get out of the material world, you have to follow this 25 years of education and becoming mature, 25 years of practicing seriously Krishna consciousness, but at the same time raising a family, and then 25 years plus all renunciation and no more any even whiff of sense gratification. That is our what you would call program for developing the qualification to go back to God. Yeah, so we're allowed 25 years of, let's say, organized sense gratification. But it is not un, it's not the wild sense gratification.
That's the most
Organized
important.
sense gratification. All right, well, thank you very much. And please chant Hare Krishna and be happy. And follow the program. 25, 25, 25. So our takeaway from today is the following. One is too attached to material life loses all good spiritual qualities. There it is, right there. One simple sentence that covers everything. One is too attached to material life loses all good spiritual qualities. So we have to be very careful that even in our material life, we should be always engaged in Krishna conscious activity. Haribol.
Hare.
Hare.